All right.
I'm gonna change the sides right there, right?
Yes, so welcome back. We'll give a couple of seconds so more people can join our room for our second webinar about housing and a taste of YorkU. Let's just give it a second so everybody can join us. So how have you been, Christine?
Good. And if they can say hi to us so we know who is there.
Exactly.
That would
say
be
hi
really
to us. And
amazing.
also, just to let everybody know, it's actually my birthday today. So it would be great if down the box you can write, for example, happy birthday or wishes in your language. That would be so cool. Thank you so much. I'm turning 21, by the way.
Oh my God, just in your age.
Exactly. It's okay.
Happy birthday. So in my language, I would say, Isaw Kurunziza.
Oh, so. Thank you.
Oh my God, yeah, everyone is, yeah.
Perfect.
Is this Italian? No, I don't think so.
How can you open that?
That's good. You can see the chat.
Where? Yeah.
No
problem.
Oh, thank you guys. You have many people.
Great. Okay. Perfect. So I think we could start.
Yeah.
So some more people can join us. Accidentally I went a bit further with the slides and I can't go back. But yeah, just as you know, we're going to talk about housing and a taste of YorkU. In this session, we will guide you through the different option or residences that you can find on Kiel and Glendon campus for both undergraduate and grad students.
Sure. And we also show you different places on Kiel campus where you can eat and buy like food and refreshments and everything while you live on residence.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just a little introduction, even if we already did. My name is Gianluigi. I'm from Italy. I'm a third-year student studying physics and astronomy.
Yeah, and my name is Christine. I'm from Rwanda and I'm studying chemistry. I'm in my third year.
Perfect. So yeah, as we were talking, just to give you an idea of what we're going to go through today, we're going to talk about the Kiel and Glendon housing for both undergrad and grad, so make sure to stay tuned. Also, we're going to also share some important dates, such as like move-in days or early moving days, or the dates about your fees regarding resident fees. So don't worry, we got you covered. Also, we all different website and emails important for you, relevant regarding housing and residence. Also, we're gonna have some special guests. We're gonna have a Don from the residence, and I'm gonna leave to him more space to explain what is his role, and as well a housing manager from housing. And then we're gonna also talk about meal plan. What is that? How you can use it, and also like some option for off-campus housing.
Yeah, that's great. Also, as we are Global Connections, we really understand that moving from your home is really complicated and it's really frustrating, but we really feel how you're feeling right now, because we also moved from our home and now we're living here. And I strongly recommend, like, during this webinar that you ask questions, and we are here always to help you.
Exactly, absolutely. Perfect. So just to go as a bit of broad of option, Kiel campus offers 8 different types of undergrad residences and 3 apartment complexes. The 3 apartments are mainly for grad students, PhD, students with a family. Glendon campus has 2 undergrad residences, and then also we have some off-campus options that are very close to York University, such as Quad and York Village, and we're going to talk briefly just at the very end. Yeah, and so we're going to explain this accommodation in detail as much as we can, but as Christine said, make sure to ask questions. We also want to for you to welcome Rachel. She's also part of the housing manager. She's going to be behind the scenes to answer you all your questions regarding residence, so don't be shy. Make sure to ask that question, okay? Perfect. And yeah, just to give you an idea, this is the map of the campus. As you can see, York has a pretty campus. This is Kiel campus, by the way. And as you can see, the different residences are divided in different complex, which is complex 1 and complex 2. Complex 2, it's Stong and between Calumet. This is more like the area for like science students like me and Christine. There's chemistry building, Petrie building, engineering building, Bergeron. Complex 1, it's usually more for like people that studies economics or liberal arts, but it really depends. And then also, as you can see, we have the York Apartments, Cinnamoni, Passy, we have the Quad. So as you can see, they're kind of scattered all around campus. Yeah, perfect.
So for undergraduate residences, these are more the options that are mostly dedicated to first-year student experience. So we have about 2,500 students living at Kiel campus. So undergraduate residences have 2 types. We have a traditional style, which we mostly call dorm residences for mostly first-year students, and we also have suite-style residences for upper-year students. And for traditional style residence, it offers furnished double and single rooms with common facilities, which is designed mostly for first year to enhance their community engagement. It's a great place that we can enjoy the companionship of your roommates, and it's an easy way to just connect with students, make new friends, and it's an easier transition to university life. So for suite style, which is also like the upper year students who wants to live in smaller groups and share utilities with other people. So for undergraduate residences, sometimes it offers mixed gender environment, but some residences also have all female or all male floors sections.
Yeah, perfect.
Also, Tatham Hall, it's an example of the traditional style residence. So for traditional style residence, the meal plan is mandatory. This Tatham Hall has it's a 13-story building with elevator access, and we have single and double rooms, as I said. It's mixed and single gender floors available. You have gender neutral washrooms on each floor. So we have also like a shared common lounge and basic cleaning services provided in common areas. So this is like a visual of how the Tatham Dome residence looks like. So you can see this is like a single bed, and we have the common lounge, and this is like the hallway and the washroom and everything. And
yeah, and I just want to add, the residences, the one that are very high with like 12, 13 floors, I have to say they have a beautiful views. In my first year, I used to live in Stone College on the 12th floor, and I was lucky to have a room that was facing the skyline of Toronto, so I could see the CN Tower and the different skyscrapers, and it was beautiful. Like I could see at night, on clear nights, like the CN Tower light up. So I think it's pretty cool. You can have amazing views no matter which corner you are. So that's very cool.
Yeah, it's really relaxing, and when you're studying, you always need a good view, because
exactly. Yes, and as Christine was mentioning, we also have like suite style type of residences, and Calumet residence is one of them. It has 6-person suite with cooking facilities. So it basically means the meal plan is not necessarily mandatory. You can either have it, so it means it's optional, or you can cook for yourself. And we're gonna also show you later that we have some grocery store on campus where you can get deli and fruits and everything. So yeah, that will be very convenient to maybe cook a meal or a snack. Calumet also has a 4-story complex. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the elevator. Most of the restaurants are like just 3 or 4 floors. They're the oldest around campus, so they don't have an elevator. It's gonna be a good gym for you.
Which is good. You
Which
need
is
to be
great.
healthy.
Be healthy. As well, Calumet has single and double occupancy in shared suites, or you can request to have just a all-female suite or all-gender, all-male suites, or if it's fine for you, you can easily have a mixed gender suit, which is possible. As well, like every residence, we have share common lounge and washroom, which I think the common areas are really nice, where you can meet up with your friends, which are not necessarily on your floor. So yeah, that's pretty good. And we also have some more pictures of Calumet residence. You can see that's the way you can have a single room or a double room in the suite that you're gonna leave. You can see the kitchen that it's provided, and the common place and the bathroom. So as you can see, it's a pretty nice area where to live, just slightly bigger. Yeah. And a bit. Yes, and if you want to know more about undergrad residences, and if you want to visit more images and pictures, or even some videos for the Kiel residence, make sure to follow housing at YorkU Housing on Instagram, and also check their website for more images.
Yeah, so for York Apartments, as we said, we have 3 apartment complexes. So this option is mostly dedicated for graduate and Osgood Law students, and also undergraduate students who are 20 years old and over. So we have almost 1,250 self-contained living units comprised of bachelors, 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms. So units are mostly furnished with a limited number of unfurnished units available. So just to remind that the priority will be mostly given to students with families. So this is an example of an apartment. This is Asinaboy Apartments. It's a really high-rise buildings with elevator access. We have a bachelor, 1 bedroom, and 2 bedroom units available. It's furnished, and we have also unfurnished options. And in case you want like furnish your own apartment and make it like personalize it and makes it beautiful as you want.
Yes, exactly. And you know, even if you get a room in a residence or an apartment, it's always nice to bring something from your home, like a flag or some kind of like, I don't know, souvenirs that you can put in on your desk. It's always nice to get like a nice feeling of nostalgia from home. So make sure to bring some decoration for your room, or you can get decorated from something here from Canada.
Good decoration is really the key. So this is just an example, like just a visual of how apartments will look like. You can also have a roommate. So here you can see there's 2 single beds in 1 room, and there's 1 bedroom with 1 bed in it. So you have your own kitchen, you have a living room, and a good washroom. So it's a nice place, a cozy place for a family, and you can get 2 bedrooms if you have more family members, if you have also friends that you want to live with. So it's a great place if you are you meet the eligibility of applying for apartments.
Yes, absolutely.
So also, if you want to learn more information about York Apartments, make sure you visit the apartment buildings gallery for building features and virtual tours. Also, make sure to follow YorkU Housing at Instagram to always see what is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we can move to Glendon Residence. Glendon Residence are just 2 options because the campus on Glendon it's much smaller compared to one on Kiel. But there is still there are 2 residences which can host almost 450 students. The 2 buildings that they have, it's Hilliard and Wood. And as you can see, there is a gallery and a virtual tour that you can have access to. I think the virtual tour is on YouTube, so you can check them out all the time, or on their website. So you can have a look for any of you living in Glendon or studying in Glendon, what kind of residence looks like. And both of them are like Tatum Hall. They're traditional type of residences, and in that case, meal plan will be mandatory as well. And yeah, so pretty much. And also make sure that if you have any question regarding Glendon housing, make sure to email them at glendon@yorku.ca.
Yeah, and if you are French-speaking student, it's great to first live in the Glendon residences, because you will get to meet people who speak the same language as you, and it's a great transition.
Yeah.
So for application processes, make sure to apply as soon as you have been admitted to York University. So for future students, just apply through My File, and for current students, apply through Passport York. For exchange students, apply through exchange offices such as York International, Schulich, and Osgood. And for undergraduates, for which the application will be for undergraduate residents and or York apartments. And so our students, excluding exchange student, they all apply through the same channel, which is my File or Passport York. Depending on their eligibility, they'll be directed to undergraduate residences or to York apartments accordingly. So for room acceptance and confirmation, so for undergraduate residences, you have to pay a $300 non-refundable residence room deposit, which is required upon acceptance of your room offer. So the residents offer a package email. The residence offer package email which will include the type of room, the residence building being offered, and the instructions on how to accept your offer, including paying the residence room deposit will be also included in the offer package email.
Yes, exactly. And now we can move on some important dates. Most probably many of you are seeking some of this information for sure, because they're really important. Even if it's been past long, February 3rd was the resident application launch date. So I think it's good to keep in mind, even if it's a date that might possibly change for the next years, if you want to continue living in residence, that's usually the time when housing, they open their application for residence. June 1st was the residence guarantee deadline for new students. Now, do not worry. That doesn't mean that you cannot get a room in residence anymore, because the room assignments goes between June and September, which means that possibly in some of the time, some people, they might get some offers and they might decline it. So there might be still a chance for you to have a spot in residence. And also for any of you that managed to apply for the resident application before June 1st, do not worry. Housing has to deal with a lot of students, so it will take a bit of time for them. So no, do not worry. You will get your room confirmation like I did as well in my first year. July 31st is a very important date. It's a late cancellation fee of $250, which is going to be assessed to you in case you cancel your residence application after July 31st. But now let's talk about some move-in information, which the first day of move-in is going to be August 31st, and also that's going to be the day of residence orientation. Now you might wonder, what is residence orientation? It's basically a day where depending which residence you live, they might do some celebration and welcoming. Most probably you're going to meet your RLC, which is the person in charge of the building, and your Don. So yeah, I think it's a pretty nice cool event and day. Of course, many of you might get there late because of your flight, so do not worry. People in residence such as Don's, they're very welcoming, they're very warming. So if you miss any of this residence orientation, you can always ask them. September 10th, this is a very important date, not only for your residence fees, but also for your tuition fees. So make sure to mark your calendars as the first installment of residence and meal plan payment due. So make sure to remember this date, which is September 10th. And then also housing on campus from December 21st to January 22nd, from January 2nd, not 22nd, are closed for the holidays. So you can either have a different arrangement. So maybe you can go and live for your friends, so you want to travel, or you have family, maybe here in Toronto or somewhere close, maybe New York. I usually go during the Christmas time to my sister that she lives in New York. Or you can ask a special permission to residents to stay in residence for those 2 times. So yeah. For any question, just always make sure to contact housing. As you can see here, we have a page of like user information, especially for undergrad residences, such as fee, your selection and placement, any future students question that you might have, and also regarding your move information. As you can see here, we have the email undergrads at YorkU.ca. So if you any question, make sure to send an email or make sure to ask them now, because they're right here behind the scenes.
Yes, sure. So also for acceptance and confirmation for YorkU apartments, so the application are processed according to the acceptance of your application. So in the email offer letter will include all the information of the apartment, unit type, unit number, rental rate, as well as moving date. So the tenancy agreement package will follow after you accept your offer. Yeah, so important information about YorkU apartments. So moving dates are always mostly arranged on the 1st and 15th of each month throughout there. So we have pending availabilities, excluding weekends and holidays. So always check your residential tenancy agreement for the exact moving date for you. So also, for the most importantly, inform housing services via their email, which is apstatus@yorku.ca, for your rate arrival. So if you don't send the email and you fail to arrive on time, so the result will be like your apartment will be released and offered to the next student on the wait list, because it's always like there's always a long wait list as the application is processed according to who when your application was accepted or arrived. So it's also highly important to obtain a tenant insurance. So to know more information about that, visit the Insurance Bureau to visit the Insurance Bureau of Canada to get more information of the tenant insurance. Also find out more information on the most asked questions on the YorkU Apartments website, YorkU Apartments housing. So you can Google FAQs, YorkU Apartments, YorkU, then you will see the page and you can get more information about YorkU Apartments. And there's mostly like most asked questions and answers. I assure you that there's a bunch of questions and you can get more answers. Also, if you still have questions, you can ask right now as we have housing back stage. So
exactly.
while answering questions right now, and if they don't get to you, back to you, you can still email them or check the page as most questions are asked there. So also visit YorkU Apartments moving page to plan for your moving day.
Perfect. Yeah, so right now, as you might know from the other webinar or not, we have a little survey time. It's gonna be just a couple of minutes. So it's just a way for you to give some feedback to us. So yeah, and also make sure to stay tuned. After the survey time, we're gonna have our 2 guests, Don Matt and the housing manager Cleo. And we're gonna have some questions, and we also have some time as well there. You can guys ask questions to them. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned. And after them, we're gonna talk also about meal plans, a little video about the taste of YorkU. Yeah, so make sure to stay tuned. Perfect, and welcome back. Thank you so much for your polls. It's very important for us to know if we're doing our job or not. But yeah, now I think it's called talk show time. So we can introduce our 2 lovely guests. I don't need to introduce them. They can introduce them for this. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Cleo Kruzman and I'm the manager for Housing Administration and Housing and Conference Services here at YorkU.
Hi, hello everyone. I know the slide says Don Nicole, but my name is Don Matt, and I am a house Don, residence life Don at Bethune Residence for now. And yeah.
Yeah, actually it's funny. We're supposed to have another Dom with us, but Matt kindly came at the last second to substitute her, so we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, thank you for Cleo for coming again. She came last year, so it's very important for us. And yeah, so I think I'll go with the first question to you, Cleo. And I would like to ask, what services does housing offer to international students mainly, and how can international students benefit from them?
From housing and conference services, so basically housing and conference services is your home away from home. So in residence, you have all the connections to all the resources that you may need around campus, and at the same time we provide you with safe, healthy, conducive spaces to live in, and some healthy meal choices as well in residence. And at the same time, we also have live-in professionals that live in the building, which is who are 24/7 support to the students, just in case they need anything for emergencies. At the same time, our residence life team does a great job of supporting students when it comes to creating study groups and encouraging people to participate in activities. These are some of the important things that they partake in, that the students partake in, to learn significant skills in life, like home skills, basic life skills, how to fill out a bank form or anything, just about any support that they can get from peers, from students that are experiencing the same experiences, that are going through the same experiences that they have. So
amazing.
In a nutshell, residence is your home away from home.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally, absolutely. Yeah, and I think now we can move to Matt. I think it's really important to explain what's a Don, what's your role.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. So myself and a lot of other Dons, all the Dons are upper year students who have lived in the residence before. And we are there to provide support and ensure that the community is built based on respect and diversity. We are also there to ensure safe and welcoming space for incoming students and people who have been living there, and ultimately to create a very cohesive and a community that is together in a sense.
Yeah. That's great.
That's great.
So the second question for Creof is, what are the support that housing services offers for international students before selecting their residences and after they have selected their residence?
So I think the experience doesn't change whether prior to them selecting a residence and after selecting a residence. So housing and conference services is just, as the old song goes, we're only one call away, or one email away. So basically more on the information side. So we equip students inquiring about residence with knowledge that they might not know, in order to guide them in selecting the right residence for them, and what's available for them, what is tailored to their needs as international students, and at the same time programming that they can avail of afterwards. And after they have selected, we're also happy to answer their questions in regards to any kind of move-in information, like what to bring in residence, what not to bring, some guidance on what to expect in living in residence. And most importantly, housing and residence services also is a huge part, or the huge organizer of the big move-in experience. We make move-in memorable for them, especially the first year students and international students.
Yes, I was about to say, it's like, especially for, I would say, most of the international students, when they get here to Canada, it's their first experience also living on their own, and there's so many questions that can be basic, like where's the dryer, where's the laundry, or any more question about keys. I think it's really important at both of the roles of both housing and also as Dons, that like kind of like communicate through them and guide them. I think it's very important.
Absolutely.
That's right.
It's like-
Communication is key. So
Yeah.
we have our contact details on the website. Please, please, please do not hesitate to contact us anytime. Send us an email, even call us, and we will be happy to answer all your inquiries.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's why we always recommend for first-year students to always go to residences and live in
Correct.
residences. It's a really great, easier transition to university
sure.
life.
That's right.
Yeah, and for the next question for
Yes.
you, Matt, how does it done help international students for their integration in a new
Right.
community?
because you're an international student.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
So you
Fun
have the
fact.
experience.
Fun fact, I am an international student, so I know what it is like to come to Canada and, you know, not really know what the Canadian culture is, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
Canadian lifestyle is. So I myself had quite a bit of trouble coming to Canada because that was when I was, you know, back in elementary school.
Yeah.
But it's different in university in the sense that there are
Mhm.
people who can support you and teach you what the culture is like so that it's easier for you to integrate into the society. And that partially is the role of the Dons.
Yeah.
So Dons are expected throughout the year, every
Mhm.
month, to have an event within the house,
Mhm.
the house being 30 to 40 students, and depends on each residence building, but so each house has that many residents, and the event is catered towards creating a common ground where students can interact, make friends, and also, as I mentioned, to learn about Canadian experiences and
Yeah.
Canadian culture, which is a phenomenal experience, only available in residence pretty much to meet people who are in the same shoes, right? In the same position as you, learning new things and getting to know what they don't know, so that, you know, that experience can bring you the opportunities to, you know, widen your spectrum and make friends pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's
Yeah.
that's totally cool. And also, like, I think it's important to know, like, you know, for international students that live in residence, why is it important there? I know that we talk about it already, but I think from a dorm perspective, and also because you live already in the residence, you know,
Right.
also as international students, you know, really how can they benefit from it? I know that we mentioned it's a home away from home, but maybe you can go in a little more details, even practicals. Maybe you can tell about your experience in your first year, if you were living residence or even as a dorm. How it helps you even get early to class.
Yeah. That was actually my first point. So the one reason, and probably the main reason you're coming to Canada and to York, most importantly, is to study, right? So my priority in first year and moving forward, even now, is education. And I think the biggest perk about living on residence on campus is the fact that it is very close to your lecture halls and other amenities that you have on campus. For example, it only takes me, you know, maximum 7 minutes to walk to my furthest lecture hall. And that's because I live on residence, right? Which is phenomenal. I can wake up 10 minutes before class and still not be late, right?
Even if it's not advised. But
Not advised, but worst case
Peanut
scenario.
butter and jelly jam instead of being stuck in a traffic jam.
Exactly. There you go.
But also, as my experience, if you live on the 12th floor of a residence, it's gonna take you a good 10 minutes to get down
I agree.
to the first floor.
I agree.
Because believe me, you're not gonna be the only one running to the lecture hall.
Indeed.
Yep.
So
Quite
that's
completely
just
right.
one part, just generally living in residence, but also something that helped me immensely in first year and moving forward was the fact that the qualified dons in each building are there to provide support and you know, pretty much answer your questions. That's the sole reason that they're there for, right? So dons are extremely qualified. They go through intensive training about so many things like diversity, respect, how to talk in different situations, how to plan events, etc. And all these skills can be used towards helping new students, not just international students, but any new student integrate into not only the residence community, but also your community, also Toronto community and Canadian community. So, which is phenomenal experience you cannot get anywhere else other than in residence settings. So
That's great.
yeah, that's why I think it is very important and integral for international students to start their university career here in a residence setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add on that, the activities that are offered, like initiated by the Dons, are really life changing. So, like if they're not only fun activities, they get to interact with their fellow international students or first year students, but at the same time, they get valuable lessons. They learn life skills, like for example, basic baking, basic cooking. They do that in activities in residence. Even like working together or living with a roommate. So you know some adulting tips, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
those basic skills they would not be able to get in like once they when they just live in a regular residence without residence life support as
Absolutely,
well.
Yeah. There's just a quick question from our global liaisons there. So you mentioned an email that they can contact you. Can you mention it to students so they can?
Yes, for undergraduate housing, it's housing undergraduates at YorkU.ca. So for York Apartments, it's app status at YorkU.ca. I'm going to repeat again. Undergraduate housing is undergraduates at YorkU.ca.
Yes.
York Apartments is app status at YorkU.ca.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. So those are the emails.
Yes.
So for the next question, so we mostly get students asking how they choose a residence that is not affiliated to their faculty.
Most definitely so. So in residence, we do advise students to register or apply for their faculty of affiliation. The reason being is that we want them to have be in the community that has the same experiences. So for example, you're in an engineering faculty, then you live with fellow engineering students that has probably the same kinds of, challenges, experiences, and you can totally relate to them. But there's nothing stopping them from applying for any other residences as well, if they want a holistic experience of the university as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am physics and astronomy, one of the most scientific majors that you can get, and I used to live in Stong, which is like kinesiology, varsity players, but still, despite that, I had some classmates living in the actual Stong building. They were like physics and astronomy or engineering. I met some people from like philosophy, liberal arts majors. So it's like, as you said, it's not a necessity. And also Stong, it's also very close. It's in front of Bethune, so it's close to like all the chemistry building and life science and Bergeron. So yeah, it's not just one residence, it's like around all the classes, several ones that are all surrounded by different classroom and everything. So
it may be also a great opportunity to connect with other students, because you're a student in your faculty, sometimes you have similar classes. So if you get an opportunity to meet students that you don't see more often, that's also a great experience, and it's good.
And, often I find a lot of people find their long-term or life best friends from residence, and it's because they explored other options in residence.
And last question for Cliff, this is more like detail. If there is any specific option for grad students that are like under 21 years old?
So graduate students, as long as they're part of the faculty of graduate studies, they can apply for York Apartments. So York Apartments has 3 apartment complexes. There are Passy Gardens, Assiniboine Building, and we have Atkinson Building as well. So there's lots of choices for them.
Perfect.
So York Apartments also comprised of bachelor units, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms that are predominantly furnished. There are some unfurnished units, but predominantly furnished.
Perfect. And the students can see the gallery online. There are like several pictures. We showed them a few on the slides, I'm pretty sure. There are a lot of gallery on the housing website. Perfect.
Correct. And if they're in town, or if ever they arrived early during the summer, we also offer apartment tours. We have staged units that they can actually book for a tour for, and they can visit and see the physical condition of the units.
And for the last question is for our Don. How can international students take active roles in residence?
Absolutely.
And are there any opportunities that they can take advantage of?
Yes, and yes. So one thing I think a lot of international students kind of make a mistake on is that because of they assume that there isn't much opportunity they can get involved with because of their international status, but that is not entirely true. Even in residence setting, there are many positions that you can volunteer for and work with, right? In your spare time. So one thing, I have several options. The first one is residence council. So residence council, it's present in every single undergraduate residence building. And it is an amazing, I did it my first year. It is an amazing opportunity. You get to connect with a smaller group of students and you get to work together to plan events, building-wide events, and plan charity events like fundraiser events. And it's just overall an amazing opportunity to connect with other students within the building. You get to meet so many people from so many backgrounds. For example, I met a friend in Res Council. I lived in Bethune my first year, but I met a student in criminology and we still talk. We are really good friends and things like that. So communities within the building and Resco would definitely be a number one choice in my option. Another option could be portering. So during your stay at residence, you could do like a part-time job as a porter. So what a porter is from 7 p.m. until 1 a.m. During non-exam time, you are placed in the porter station. It's a 3-hour shift, and you sign in guests and lend out vacuums, games, etc. It's a very stationary job, and sometimes you can do other work when it's not so busy. It's a great opportunity to make some extra living expenses while you stay in Canada in the residence building, and you also get to see a lot of people and interact with a lot of people because you are in the porter station in the lobby, right?
I just want to add, I actually, because Dawn are very friendly, but I think porters are kind of like the people, kind of like an hotel, they welcome you, because I remember every time I used to come back like tired from classes or like the day was a bit like depressing. The porters will always be there and smiley. I still remember one of my porter in Stong, I think she became Dawn next year. She was Dawn Ella, and she was so friendly. She was always seeing me like big books of math and calculus, and she would be like, "Oh, what is that?" And then she would look at it, she's like, "Oh my God, now I understand." I'm kidding. But it's so like, it's very genuine and it's very warming, especially if sometimes you're in a single room. It's nice to have the kind of like interaction before you go to bed and resting.
Absolutely,
it's very energizing. It sometimes can change your day from like bad to good. Yeah, totally. It's very supporting.
Things like that.
Actually, portering is not only the jobs available for students. One of the opportunities that they can avail of is applying for housing and conference services positions such as the front desk. So we do hire part-time students at the front desk, and at the same time, if they are staying during the spring and summer, we also hire like cleaners, maintenance assistants, and all of that positions that they can apply for to make extra money as they prepare for the next academic year.
Absolutely.
So that's good. As you have heard, living in residence, you only don't get a home, you get a place to make money. So
exactly. And get experience. And get a lot of experience from work. Don't forget about that experience on your resume. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you
to Matt and Cleo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No problem. No problem. Me and Christine, we go very briefly to the next few slides. Yes, we're still gonna be here. Don't worry, we're not gonna leave you anytime soon. But let's talk about the meal plan. Most probably many of you are wondering what's a meal plan, and I think even people that is not necessarily Mandarin, they should know at least how to use it. Also because your meal plan actually goes directly to your YorkU card, which is really important. And this is how you can benefit from it. Basically, meal plan, you have a certain amount of money. We have a table on the next slide that you can see. You can choose a different plan, and basically You can use it through your 2 terms, fall and winter term, basically on any food option and outlets on campus regarding food and snacks, and it's very important and benefit because you don't get charged taxes, which is the food tax, the HST, which you can say that extra dollar or extra two, which it's very good because if you want that extra coffee on top of your meal,
Yes.
we're students after all, so we always need the caffeine or tea. It's really important. It's a fast payment because you can simply give it to it and to whoever is working in the food outlet, they can just slide it, so it's much faster than paying maybe cash or with card or other sort of other payments. As I said, you can use it in any restaurant on campus, and you can also get some discounts coupons on your sticker. So I think it's pretty nice. And as you can see, we have here a table, which is the meal plan prices for 2019-2020. As all the others expensive, you get charged from your meal plan on your student's account. So make sure to check it on your student account when it will say meal plan. You can just use the bronze, the silver, the gold, the platinum. Pretty much. I think in my first year, I choose a silver plan, which I use it mostly through my 8 months living residence, so it was pretty cool. It can be very useful if you live in residence, and it's mandatory. Yeah.
So, as he has mentioned, the YU card, which is the York University ID card that you will get when you get here. So you can load money, which we call flex dollars, using your Visa or MasterCard, and it's accepted at all locations across campus. So for you can use your card to pay for food and snacks at any Kiel campus restaurants. You can also use it for buying books and supplies at York University bookstore. You can also use it for printing and photocopying. So for residence laundry machines and other services that are on participating on off-campus machines. So also flex dollars, they don't expire and are refundable upon request. So if you still have money on your card and you don't need to use it, you can still ask for a refund.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have a little video that me and Christine created. We're not the global liaison in charge of the biography, so please forgive our low-key elementary skills of editing a video. But we'll go through different pictures that we took around campus of different places, so you can know. We're gonna share our experience, so you can get the taste of YorkU right away. So.
So it's just a simple way of getting a visual.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Places. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. I missed it. How can I go back with the slides?
Jake.
Okay. Let's try. Oh, there you go. As you can see, I'm not a very technological person. But yeah, this is a taste of YorkU, and yes, this is York Lanes. York Lanes basically is the main area where there are so many food and places that you can go and eat. Also, it's a very important place because you can have banks and other different stores like the bookstores. Also in York Lanes, we have different type of cuisine of restaurants such as Italian, Indian, Mexican, Korean, a lot of like different options, as well like coffee shops. Because as we said, we're students and we need the caffeine. One of my favorite is La Prep because it doesn't only does coffee but also like other types of like iced coffee and refreshment, which are very perfect for the summer.
Sure. Yeah. We also in the York Lanes, we have the grocery store that we have mentioned for mostly people who will live in the suicide or in apartments. So it's a place where you can buy like fresh veggies and any fresh fruits and dairy, like anything you will need for your kitchen and to make a snack and go to class. So make sure to check it out when you get here. and buy some
Yeah,
groceries there.
absolutely. You know, and I think it's very useful also for people that did not have necessarily a kitchen, like they want to eat like a snack on the go
Oh, true,
or before to classes. You know, it's pretty useful. Also in Lanes, we also have a bar lounge, which is called Shopsy, which is pretty great if you want to watch your games with your friends, or you want to maybe celebrate your birthday or after an exam. I do quite a lot of time. Yeah, and also we have the student center. Student center also is one of the main building that we have about not only like food outlets, but also for like clubs on campus and kind of like the place where students basically they gather for big events. We also have a multicultural week event usually happening in January. So, you know, you can really make sure to check them out. That's very good. Most of the events happening in student center. Yeah, and as well, student center have different outlets of cuisine, like other ones. So yeah, it's
so
good.
going back to Chopsy a little bit. So as you know, I love that place. So I have to talk about it. So as you know, like it is like if you watch NBA, we love basketball, you know, like Raptors won. So it was a great place to go there and watch the game with the students. It was fun, and if you are allowed to drink, it's a place to get a drink and socialize with
which
people.
Is 19 years old
19
here in
years
Ontario.
by the way. So,
by the way, we do not want to facilitate that.
So it's a really good place to just you can get a food also in the morning or
absolutely.
anything. So it's really a great place.
It's a nice place, exactly. And yeah, going back to student center, yeah, this is pretty much the student center. Student center also has some microwaves which any students can use. You know, if you have your kitchen, if you want to warm up your food, is a nice little station over there. It's pretty nice, very convenient, you know. But yeah, this is pretty much the student center. And here's, as you can see in the images, we have some Italian, we have some Caribbean and Greek. I do apologize for my photography skills, but yeah. And now we can talk about Central Square. Central Square, it's a nice place, I think, because it's a food court basically surrounded by classroom. And I think no matter what's your major, at least in your 4 years or 3 years of undergrad or grad, you will have a class in one of those rooms for sure. And yeah, Central Square I think offers a bit more like I don't want to say healthy option, but more like fresh cook meals that you can actually see, such as pasta, burritos, burgers, even sushi, I do believe. It also has some special for like pizzas and snacks for breakfast as well, and coffee. I think pretty convenient. And just across Central Square, we have Starbucks. As you know, it's very famous here in North America. And also Tim Hortons, which another coffee shop, very famous here in Canada. If you want a coffee, or you know, the croissant on the side, that extra sugar. I love sweets for like, those are my favorite places on campus. Yeah, do you have a favorite? Do you usually choose Starbucks or Tim Hortons? Which team are you?
I'm cheap, so I always go to Tim Hortons, even though the line is always big. As you know, students are cheap, and Tim Hortons is the cheapest one. So we always line there. And another point, it's really this Central Square. It's closer to School Library, which is a really big library.
Absolutely.
So when you're studying for your classes, for exams, it's a great place to go and get a drink and go back to study without just going out. And it's great for winter if you don't want to go outside and walk all the way to get food. So it's really convenient, and always like get some coffee, keep drinking coffee. We need coffee. I didn't used to drink coffee, by the way, so I started when
University
I got here. So this is very convenient for me.
Yes, exactly. And to talk a bit more, some options that are a bit slightly on the side, a bit far off. We have the quad, which we're going to talk right away, which is off-campus housing, which is actually right across Kiel campus, and has different options such as Subways, Aroma, Basil. Once again, Canada, it's a place full of like ethnicities, so there's so many restaurants from all around the world and different cuisines. Aroma, it's a nice place. Actually, one of our global leaders, and she's obsessed with it because every time she get a drink, they always give you like a little chocolate on the side.
And you get one.
Yes, and she always gets some for us out
Don't
of
know how she gets
liaison.
those, but
So we're
well.
very happy because we need that extra chocolate, at least for me
Oh,
and
yeah.
Christine, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
love sweets.
Sweet.
Yeah, do you have a favorite space?
Oh yeah,
quad?
yes I do actually. There's a bama, which is I think Vietnamese restaurant. So
Oh.
it's very good. I like to eat their food because, as you know, I live at the village, so it's closer to me too. So it's a really nice place. Yeah.
Oh.
There's also other places. There's some Indian
Yeah,
restaurants. And,
there are some
yeah.
burrito place. I think they
Yeah.
opened an Italian one. There is a smoothie place. I think maybe a bubble tea. I
There's a
think
lot.
since they opened, they keep opening new food outlets every day. So it's a good place to explore, especially in summer when you want to have a walk in the sun or
Oh,
in the
true.
clouds for how much sun they can be here in Canada. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And lastly, I think very important for people living in residence, under both complex, as you remember from our map, complex 1 and complex 2, there are actually two cafeterias. One is under Stong and Bethune College, and the other one it's under Vanier and Tatum Hall, and it's pretty close also to the other one, Founders and Winters. And basically, it's once again, it's a place where they cook a bit more fresh food just there on the spot, or there is a salad section, and it's very easy because it's literally under the residence, so you can literally I used to go there in my pajama and be like, here, I want some salad or want a slice of pizza, especially for those long nights of like studying. You won't always have the snack on the side, but yeah.
It's very convenient for like students in residence because you can get breakfast and go to class without just going all the way to the restaurant. It's very convenient.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, as we were mentioning, this is the quad, as you can see in the picture. It's a lovely two buildings which are just located just right outside of York. It's important to say that it's not part of the York Housing Services, but it's perfect to live for like friends or family. I think it's especially meant for like upper year students. Because since it's not a York Housing Services, that there is no res life, there are no dons. So I think this is maybe a better option when you're in your upper year, like third and fourth. Maybe you're, have some friends, some families, so you want to live together. And it's perfect. It includes gas and internet in the rental price. And if you want to have more information, make sure to visit the website, which is quad@york.ca. I think you can just write down the quad and YorkU, and it should appear the links and everything, which is very important. It's a good option of house campings as well. Yeah.
So the village, just to mention also, it's not a part of York. It's a neighborhood where houses are privately owned. So the rent is cheaper, but despite that, how the rent is cheap, it is very important that you personally speak to the house owner and scope out the areas before moving in. So I personally live in the village, but I started living there when I was in my third year right now. So I would strongly recommend for first year students, or even if you know the first year but you just came here to first just join the residence, not the village, because it's if you want to choose a house in the village, the process is I just have to go there and check how it looks like and meet the people that live there, just for a safe your safety. So yeah, it's a great place that you can check out. Like after have been familiar with the environment, and you have many people that live in the village and you like the place, and the room is available. It's like a great place you can live in, which is cheap. But for the first year, for your first experience in Canada,
we recommend living residence. It's the best option. And as Christine said, very important. It's better if you're here in person, if you decide to find a place that is not residence, maybe your third year, because you want to make sure it's not a fraud. You know, you want to double check the place, it's nice and furnish it or not furnish it, depends for which option are you going. So yeah, please be careful with that. Yeah, it's not just in the village, or it's all around Toronto, wherever you want
And
to
it's
leave.
closer, yeah. It's closer to the campus. It's like 10 minutes, 5 minutes walk.
Exactly.
But still, you have to make sure you know the house owner and the people living there. So also for off-campus housing, like there are neighborhoods which are like in downtown or midtown areas that are like in a close proximity to the Young University subway line, which comes from all the way from downtown straight to York University campus. So it's really a popular place that York students also like to live, especially if you have been here and you have found probably a job which is not on campus, which is a little bit further, and you want to be a little bit in the middle of where you work in the school. So some people choose that. But it's also recommended for people who have been here for a little bit of time and have been familiar with how housing works. So it's there is an interactive map of Toronto neighborhood map that can help you to understand more about the characteristics of each area. So another recommendation is just to know your rights and obligations. So if you visit the Ontario Government Landlord and Tenant Board website, yeah, you can have greater important information about your rights and obligation when renting an apartment in Ontario. Also, another great point to mention is that in Ontario, when you sign a lease, it will be for 12 months. So it's a very common practice when renting an apartment. So you have to consider that and be sure that that whole year long commitment, it works for you, as most international students during summer like to go back home and stay there for the whole 4 months. So you have to make sure that you will be staying for the whole 12 months for your lease and don't waste money when you travel. So yeah.
Exactly. And because we just mentioned it very quickly, even if it's not going to be our next online workshop, really make sure to check our, I think it's going to be our 5th workshop with Globalius and Shannon and Jan. They're going to give an online workshop like transportation and places in Toronto. So you can actually understand what downtown and midtown means, because believe me, coming from Italy, we don't have a downtown or midtown. Or unless it's not translated in that way, especially learning from the British language and not the American language. So yeah, really make sure to tune with us and keep following us on the different platforms such as Instagram and our website, yorkinternational.ca/GC for our Global Connection online workshops. Follow us on Instagram. We are York International, on Twitter and on Facebook. So you can be you can see not only what is happening right here, our future events, but also at the same time for our next webinars, which is really important. Yeah, pretty much. And as I mentioned, next webinar is going to be with Global Youth and Vishwaveda and Global Youth and UJ. It's going to be academic life at YorkU. Very important if you want to know your way around some information about like advising and academic counseling. I'm pretty sure they have a perfect plan and webinars just for you, and it's going to be on July 9th at 9 a.m. Toronto time. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned.
What I can also mention about the webinar, how important it is, like when they say the start time for classes September 4th, that means that classes are really starting. Like the teaching is done, and there's some like some names they use that we maybe not be able to understand because it's not commonly used. It's like your community language. So if you join this webinar, you will get like a more bit of a knowledge, and you will still get more about in your orientation and stuff. So but this is a great start to just be familiar with everything and be ready for your classes.
Yeah, especially because the academia from different countries is not the same as in Canada. So yeah, really make sure to tune with the next online workshop. It's going to be very fundamental for your success here at York. And yeah, and now we're going to answer just a couple of questions, me and Christine live. Another our lovely global liaison and Rachel, they're answering most of your question behind the scenes, but if you have any specific question that we could answer, yeah, make sure. If you have any more questions, make sure to direct them to gcinfo@yorku.ca.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you so much for attending
Yes.
this webinar.